Curt Hennig, but to you people, I'm Mr. Perfect. And I know a lot of you people sitting there right now wonder what it's like to go through life without making any mistakes. No blemishes, no flaws, from head to toe, absolutely perfect. Yes, being perfect, it has its boring times, like a simple game of billiards. Well, fool to you common people. Like I said,
Hey, Curt Hennig fans. Hello, welcome to another episode of Nobody Beats Curt Hennig Nobody. I'm your host, Mrs. Witchy Perfect. We are back. Boy, it's been a long week, you guys. And of course, the weather wasn't helping. You know, it was raining and storming. And of course, we only got like a little bit of rain. So, and I heard like a little bit of rumble of thunder, but not too bad. So you guys will have already known about this. This is coming out as of April, April 12th for Rumble, and probably so 4 days later would be the 16th of April. Also, look out for my birthday special. Will be coming out fairly soon. Gonna have some of the guys back on. The guys that I had on. When did I have them on? I had them on for his birthday, for Curt's birthday special. So gonna try to get Kit Cabello and Angel and of course David from Deconstructing Topics back on my show. Right now, like I said, you will already have known this. We're going to talk again. We're going to go back to James Romero for the news of the day or the news of the week. Again, this will already be old news to you guys. So, and then our final main event, or I should say our main event, is going to be Curt Hennig versus Larry Zbyszko in the AWA. Yes, they actually did wrestle a few times. So we are going to watch the match. Curt gets disqualified because he comes off of the top rope, and at the time in AWA, again, it was up to the discretion of the referees, but apparently they didn't want to put Larry Zbyszko. They didn't want to, make Larry Zbyszko look bad, but they didn't want to make Curt look bad either. They didn't want to, pin Curt to the mat 1, 2, 3. So, well, they didn't want that to happen with Larry Zbyszko either. So, so it does end in disqualification, and then we will have like a little interview with Curt after that. But let's get right to it. So we're going to talk about the recent inductees. Was Dennis Rodman. I don't know how Dennis Rodman had anything to do with WWE, but he was more in WCW. Everybody knows this. I remember I was 11 and 12 years old when Dennis Rodman would come into WCW and hang out with Hogan and, the NWO guys. I do remember that. And then, of course, I do remember in 1998, of course, I was 12. I hope I'm not predating myself, but 1998, I was 12, and I do remember the Karl Malone thing with Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone, kind of the basketball invades wrestling. And then of course there's also a little bit of a feud between Kevin Green and Curt Hennig, because he was sick of football guys coming in here and, taking the spotlight. From the wrestlers. So I think this was kind of like the end for WCW even then, because, they had to, by 1998, pretty much they were already losing in the ratings because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I think they were kind of floundering and saying, well, hey, let's just get a bunch of celebrities on and, maybe people will start watching again. But it's one of the reasons why they stopped watching. Because they weren't interested in the celebrities coming in, even though Kevin Green was a big part of, I think, the wrestling scene. Definitely. Of course, they would let him during the summertime when football was not playing, they would let him come in and do a few angles with, certain people. So, I know he slapped Randy Savage, I think, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, they had that backstage thing in 1998 with him and Curt Hennig. So So I think that, well, and that was also because, Curt was trying to get at Goldberg. So, and Goldberg had been a football player who just came in and pretended like he knew how to wrestle. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and hear about Dennis Rodman being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame again. Dennis Rodman was not on WWE. He was on WCW, and he would always hang out with the NWO. So, all right, let me get that up. And I'm going to hit play now.
Hello, everybody. James here. This is going to be a really rushed one. I'm sorry to say. I've not done my usual stuff here because I'm kind of trying to... I've not got much time, but I wanted to announce to you, if you haven't seen it already, the news has only really been out about half an hour as I record this, but the next celebrity inductee of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026 is not Cyndi Lauper. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be Cyndi Lauper this year. I hadn't really given it that much thought. I kind of think she's one of the most glaring omissions at the time. It is, in fact, Dennis Rodman. Now, immediately, I thought, what? Yeah. Dennis Rodman? And then actually I kind of thought about it and I was like, well, do you know what? He was a pretty big deal for those appearances in WCW in 97, 98, not in 99. And there's some other stuff I'm going to mention briefly. This is
I just want to stop it here for just a brief moment. Yeah, he's known for WCW. This is the WWE. Yeah, I know that WCW was bought by WWE, but still, this was not Dennis Rodman making money for the WWF at the time. It was WWE. It was WCW that he was coming into, and he was making money for and making appearances for, skipping practice. I think someone said on X that he skipped practice to be, I think it was Angel that said this. He skipped practice to be at a showing of WCW because, I mean, Hogan was a friend of his, and later on, and I don't know which episode we'll do, but when we get to Curt was in XFLW or something. Anyway, he would go into Australia with Dennis Rodman to do a feud with Dennis Rodman. Now, I don't know if Curt was a heel or if he was a babyface. I don't know if Rodman was supposed to be a heel or babyface. I'm not sure because it kind of like at that point, I'm like, I don't know who's who here. It seemed like Dennis Rodman was the heel, though, again, back and forth, I'm not really sure. I don't think the fans really knew what to do with that. They kind of just were like, okay, it's Curt Hennig versus Dennis Rodman. But we will watch along to that match because it is a good match. I do have that saved somewhere on one of my hard drives. So, yes, we will watch along to that. And I do remember that briefly, that feud. But I didn't really see any matches about it. I just kind of heard about it. And then, of course, we would lose Curt a little time later. So, but anyway, on a happier note, but like I said, Dennis Rodman was a part of WCW. He was not a part of WWF. He was not a part of WWE at all. He made them no money. I'm throwing it out there. He was a WCW guy.
All off the top of my head, but the first foray Dennis Rodman nearly had in wrestling was in 96, I believe, because he was going to be involved either in a match or a segment or something like that with Goldust at WrestleMania 12, I believe.
Yeah, but that never happened.
I don't know if WCW just outbid at that point, but eventually he wouldn't be seen in wrestling at all in 96. He would turn up in WCW in around March of 1997. He would become a member of the NWO.
Right.
The big match that he ended up having that year was Lex Luger and the Giant versus Dennis Rodman and Holly.
Sorry. Just really quick. It may have been a rumor that he was going to face Goldust or he was going to be at WrestleMania. I have never heard that rumor before, so I don't know the merits of it, but I will do some more digging on that. But that's news to me that Dennis Rodman was ever going to be on WWE or WWF at the time. So yeah, I did not know that, and that, like I said, is news to me. So all right, here we go.
Would Hulk Hogan, and went pretty darn well, all things considered. We'll go back.
Yeah,
I'm not going to go through
in WCW.
all of his segments in WCW because I can't remember off the top of my head. One of them, I'm pretty sure, happened was that he clobbered Brutus Beefcake so hard in the back of the head, it like put him out of wrestling for a bit or something. I can't remember, but I know he's done interviews on it. Dennis Rodman's biggest year in wrestling was 98, because not only was the Bulls going for, I guess, their last of the 6 World Championships at that point, or the NBA, or whatever it is, he actually sacked off training one day to turn up at a WCW Nitro show. It's even in The Last Dance documentary, which I only realized afterwards had been made by wrestling fans as well. So they really want to put that fact in there, and they had everybody talking about it. But that was actually, weirdly, apart from the fact that the match was awful, because of Dennis Rodman, I think he barely did anything, if memory serves me correctly. He kind of fell asleep in the corner because he was probably hungover from the night before. Holy moly. One sec. Yeah, my wife just texted me to say that a massive celebrity, Chuck Norris, has just died. She just texted me that now. So if this is the first you're hearing about it, crikey, that's a big one. All right, then. So where was I? He fell asleep in the corner of the NWO Bash at the Beach pay-per-view in 98. At the end of winning as well. But, they were paying him like $1 million or $2 million or something like that. He was making absolute ridiculous money. Yeah, he was. And then he turned back up in 1999 for a few segments. Kind of luster was off of Dennis Rodman at that point in 99 because, the paparazzi weren't following him anywhere near as much. What a difference a year makes. But Randy Savage and Dennis Rodman actually had a hardcore match at Road Wild 99 as well. It's probably the forgotten of his 3 matches in WCW. He also would go on to have 3 matches touring with Curt Hennig in Australia, which is kind of bizarre, in singles matches as well. He would do bits and bats with wrestling again. He did appear in AEW, I think, once, if I'm remembering that right. Yeah, he did 2023, an episode of AEW Collision. I'm just reading this off Wikipedia. Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sonjay, etc. He was also part of Hulk Hogan Celebrity Wrestling. But also, what is not written here, amazingly, is that he did make an appearance in TNA in like 2004 as well. And keep in mind, he was commanding, like $1 million for just a few days. In WCW, in TNA, they booked him like 5 years later for $5,000, which is kind of just amazing. I mean, is he good? Is he a good celebrity for the WWE Hall of Fame? Kind of, yeah, I would say. I'm sure Diamond Dallas Page is screaming that Karl Malone should have also been inducted with him, I guess, because he was at one point, if he's not now, tight with Karl Malone. But Karl was really good for his limited experience as well. But I don't think having Dennis Rodman in the WWE Hall of Fame is that bad of a shout, actually, for a celebrity induction anyway, because he was a big draw. That 98 pay-per-view especially did gangbuster numbers as well. So it wasn't, and that's kind of what it's all about, really.
It wasn't really for, I'll stop sharing there. The problem is it really wasn't for, it wasn't for WWE. It was for WCW. He did gangbuster numbers for WCW. Now, again, people are going to say, well, WWE owns WCW. Yeah, I get that. But the problem is Dennis Rodman did no work for WWE. He literally did the work for WCW. At the time, WCW was its own entity. Of course, we know that Vince would end up buying it. But still, it's kind of like, I see why Donald Trump, I don't understand why Donald Trump is in there because he's never wrestled. He just kind of hosted, he kind of hosted the WrestleMania 6 and 7. Oh, sorry, 5 and 6. No, 4 and 5, excuse me. So I understand why he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't like it because he never wrestled a day in his life, but he did host WrestleMania 4 and 5. So I get that part. What I don't get is why, Dennis Rodman made money for the competition. He was never on WWE programming. Not once. I don't remember even, I know Mike Tyson was their celebrity at WrestleMania 14. If that was supposed to be Dennis Rodman, I had no idea about that. But the thing is, with the Dennis Rodman thing, if you're going to, I guess if you're going to have anybody from WCW, you might as well put, is Kevin Green in the WWE Hall of Fame? even though he never stepped foot in WWE programming that I remember. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kevin Green was on WWE. I don't remember Kevin Green ever stepping foot on WWE programming. Just like Dennis Rodman. I don't remember Dennis Rodman ever stepping foot on WWE programming. So, and we had the breakdown of what Dennis Rodman did. Now, again, they mentioned the feud with Curt Hennig in Australia. And again, like, I'm watching this match going, wait, who's the babyface here? Who's the heel? I had no idea. I'm guessing Curt was the babyface and Dennis Rodman was the heel. I don't know. Because I didn't hear anybody cheering for Dennis Rodman. Everyone was booing Dennis Rodman. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's the heel. But then there was a couple people that were booing Curt Hennig. So I'm not really sure where that fit in there. But anyway, yes, James did mention, thank you, James Romero, however you say your name. I'm sorry if I butchered it. But thank you for giving us the news on that. Again, please check out his channel, James Romero. List Mania is another one he does. He also does shows with Stevie Richards. So please check him out on YouTube. Also, Jim Cornette had talked about, I didn't get to, he may have talked about Dennis Rodman going in, but I haven't gotten there yet. So I have been so crazy busy at work. I can't tell you. On and off the phone all the time, and just trying to keep helping as many people as I can. So I'm trying to help as many people as I can. Anyway, so yes, I want to, and this is kind of where I'm not really sure. Like, again, I'm flabbergasted, and I think Dennis Rodman does kind of deserve it, but not for WWE. He was not in WWE. I don't understand why they keep putting these people who had nothing to do with WWE. I have no idea why they're putting them in these Hall of Fame. Cyndi Lauper was at WrestleMania 1 and 2, and she was a big part of wrestling at the time. And her music video, which was in the Goonies, if anyone's seen that movie. Definitely she deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame as a celebrity. If Donald Trump is in it, then she definitely needs to be in it. Because all he did was host. She actually got involved in storylines, and she actually took a slap from Roddy Piper. I mean, kudos to her for going through with that, a lot of celebrities would be like, no, don't hurt the face. But, Cyndi Lauper was kind of like, she had that fiery, passionate, stuff about her, So I can see why they would put Cyndi Lauper in. I don't see why they would put Dennis Rodman in, or, Kevin Green, or I don't even understand the Donald Trump part, except that he hosted and he's a billionaire, he's a rich person. He's also a pedophile. Okay. Again, those are my opinions, guys. Trigger warning. If you like Donald Trump, I'm sorry, but those are my opinions. Anyway, you can hear me rant about politics some other time, on Angel's show. Check out Angel Riviera. His stuff is in the description field. All right. So now, again, this is old news to you guys, because this is coming out on April 12th. And don't forget, my birthday bash is coming up, guys. So we're going to try to get some people, because my birthday is on a Monday this year. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of Rumble always gets Sundays, I'm going to just do that Monday. So everything for YouTube and for Rumble will come out on April 20th, which is my birthday. Okay. So scheduling, you guys had that scheduling with Curt's birthday, because his birthday was on a Saturday. My birthday is on a Monday. So both shows are going to come out on April 20th. And I just need to get it, I need to get it finalized, but it will be coming out on April 20th. So look for that, because it's going to have, it's like next week, because this comes out on April 12th. This is April 12th that you guys are seeing it. For YouTube guys, you probably will also see this on the 12th, because again, that next week is my birthday. So we're going to have a birthday bash with the guys. All right. Now, you guys have already heard this. So Ted DiBiase Jr. was found not guilty. I am going to pull that up. Yeah, I know. It was a shocker for me too. But Ted DiBiase, sorry about that. Ted DiBiase Jr. was found guilty, not guilty. Did I say guilty or not guilty? I meant not guilty. He's been found not guilty. And we talked about this with Angel because I had shown a video clip of this with Angel when he was here on my show. And we kind of talked about the ball bearings of this where, here, let me put my beautiful face back up. We'll get to you, James, just in a second. So when we were talking about this, I was kind of posing the question, I think the government has kind of put Ted DiBiase Jr. under the bus. Now, I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. Obviously, a court did not agree that he did anything wrong, but I just kind of was trying to play devil's advocate, to be fair. I don't like DiBiase Jr., Ted DiBiase Jr., excuse me. And I don't like, I wasn't much for Ted DiBiase Sr. I mean, he's okay. I wasn't much for the $1 Million Man, though he was beyond his years where he said everyone has a price. I do believe that. I think that is reality. And I think that he had something going on there, even though that was a wrestling gimmick. But I just wasn't much for I thought the $1 Million Man was a good gimmick, especially for Ted DiBiase, because he was able to come off as like a real Richie douchey guy, right? A real dickhead. There you go. So I think in the long run, I wasn't really much for the $1 Million Man, but I can see why he was very popular in that gimmick because he played such a tremendous, bad guy. Okay. And you were supposed to hate him. That was the point. That was the point where you were supposed to hate him. So, all right, let's let James take it away. Take it away, James.
Hello, everybody. James here, and I was still stuck in the office on a Friday night at 7:30 local time, and this one just came across my desk. I've been covering this on my channel, on Dutchman Tell's channel for like a year and a half or something like that, and the verdict is in. Ted DiBiase Jr. is found not guilty of embezzlement and fraud of millions of dollars of welfare funds in Mississippi. I must say, I'm a bit surprised because of all the stuff that's come through.
I'm not.
All the facts and whatnot, and some of the weird stuff that came out in the trial as well. I honestly thought he was going down the Kermits. I really did. But I've got no notes here. I'm going to just be rambling on a bit, and I'm going to read some of the Carrion Ledger website's write-up of it as well. But Ted DiBiase Jr., his brother Brett DiBiase, they were two of the named people that were charged with embezzlement and fraud, once again, of Mississippi welfare funds. Brett had already pled guilty some time ago, and he is looking still, because he's not been sentenced yet. He's looking up to 5 years. I read something with Ted DiBiase Jr. that if he was found guilty today, he was actually looking upwards of 185 years. Could have found himself in... I'm turning my phone off. That's how quickly I'm sort of racing through this. He could have found himself several lifetimes behind bars. And originally, this guy called John Davis, who is one of the people who are basically handing out all the money for this. He's already gone down for over 30 years, and he was giving... right, but the thing I think I was trying to make a point to everything was that literally I think they just stuck Ted DiBiase Jr. And again, I'm not much for Ted DiBiase. I wasn't much for his wrestling. I didn't see a lot of his wrestling. I kind of saw the very beginning of it, and I wasn't really impressed. Ted DiBiase Sr. was the second generation because his stepdad was in it. And then so Ted DiBiase Jr. would be third generation. But I wasn't really impressed much with Ted DiBiase Jr. And again, stop me when I'm wrong, but I think his dad was a much better wrestler than he was. So,
But anyway, I just kind of felt like they were kind of throwing Ted DiBiase Jr. down, under the bus, so to speak, because it just, none of that welfare money. First of all, they kind of played it off as, well, he was taking money from poor people. Guys, I hate to break this to you. I have been poor, and trust me, I never saw a dollar. I never saw a penny of all this money they say they're supposed to be giving the poor. That's not what happened. Someone was embezzling that money, and I'm guessing they thought Ted DiBiase Jr. was a part of it. I don't think he was. I think he was just put under the bus because there was other people on the other side of it who, and then none of that money was going to go to the poor. Please do not think that is not true. They stick it in their pockets. They just got caught. This is what happened, is they just got caught. And then they were like, oh, well, what? But he did it too. No, he didn't, because he just got found not guilty. So I think this had a lot to do with, other people pointing fingers, the old saying, when you have a finger pointed at you, you have, or if you're pointing a finger at someone, there's 3 more pointing back at you, something like that, right? All right, more of this.
Giving testimony against Ted DiBiase Jr. for days, through tears, no less, where basically
I'm sure,
throwing Teddy under the bus as much as he could, pretty much.
Yeah.
And also in the course of the trial, there were these text messages that came out. I've got to find them. One sec. Here we go. I've got it. And also someone to read it out for me.
The question is, why? In one 2018 text message from Brett to Davis, Brett says, I don't know where I stand with you. Every time I think of you, I want to be with you. Davis responded, I love you, I love you, I love you. Another Brett text to Davis reads, it's only when I'm with you I feel safe enough to sleep. Davis told the jury he got very close to Brett.
So there was that. There was
kind
of
really
a
close.
Weird thingy. And really, I've got to find a photo of him. And there he is, John Davis. Who can blame Brett? He's an absolute beaut. Anyway, this also explains where John Davis's role is in all of this, allegedly.
Here's how prosecutors say everything worked. Davis directed welfare funds to 2 nonprofits, the Family Resource Center of North Mississippi, which was operated by Christy Webb, and the Mississippi Community Education Center, which was operated by Nancy New. Both women have also pleaded guilty in this scandal. Those groups then...
I should also say, right, Teddy DiBiase Jr. was the only person who didn't plead guilty in all this.
Because
he
gave
contracts to DiBiase's company.
Because like I said, again, the corruption didn't start with DiBiase, though it made it sound like that DiBiase was... DiBiase Jr. was like the, he's so evil, taking money from poor people. These guys were taking money from real poor people. And I don't know where DiBiase Jr. fits in all this. All I know is that corruption didn't just start with Ted DiBiase Jr. Okay, it started with Davis, and it kind of sounds like there was a little bit of hunky-dory going on between Brett DiBiase and this John Davis. So, you got real close, all right. Makes me think that they were bunking uglies, bunking uglies. So anyway, hey, it happens. If Brett DiBiase is, if he swings for the other team, I guess, or plays for the other team, hey, great, whatever. I don't care. I'm not his wife. I don't belong to him. But what I'm saying is the corruption didn't just start with DiBiase. It actually started with John Davis, right? So again, just because there's corruption here doesn't mean that, again, I'm not saying that DiBiase wasn't a part of it. He may have known, he may not have known. Who knows what DiBiase knew and what he didn't know about this corruption scandal. But again, I'm not the one who's going to hold DiBiase Jr. Accountable. I'm going to be holding John Davis accountable. Where's my money? If I'm a poor person in Mississippi, I want to know where my money is. I want to know now, bitch. Because these are the people that don't give a crap about poor people. This is what I'm saying. So this is not just, it was Ted DiBiase. He was the ringleader of all of this. No, it was John Davis. who had a special relationship with Brett. With Brett DiBiase. Ew. But hey, if you want to love a man, you go right ahead, Brett DiBiase. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, more.
Davis testified that he knew DiBiase was not able to perform the duties of the contracts, but he continued to steer them to him anyway.
So a part of the accusation, I will go back and forth on this. Once again, I don't have the full notes here, but he was allegedly, I still love it. Apart from buying a house and some other luxury items, he had to go and buy the boat. He bought a boat. That was what the prosecution was alleging. Part of the trial as well was kind of bizarre, where it ended up being halted for several weeks, where Teddy DiBiase's lawyer, or his main lawyer, fell sick. And his argument was, well, my lawyer's sick. Can we just have a mistrial? And the judge went, no. Because for two reasons. One, you've got other lawyers on your team. And two, if the trial's not going somebody's way, you could just say your lawyer's sick, and that's just the end of the trial for however long. And then you go back up for 2 years. So it kind of didn't really make sense for that anyway. But we're going to read through this. Excuse me. The Clarion Ledger website together, and I'll try and pick up and add where I can. A federal jury found Teddy DiBiase Jr., former pro wrestler, not guilty of all criminal counts on his indictment for his involvement in Mississippi's welfare scandal. So here's something interesting, that maybe the person who Randy Orton was getting a call from, maybe it could have been Teddy DiBiase after all. We'd probably see him on SmackDown now. Who knows? Jurors who heard at least 24 witnesses during the trial deliberated Friday, March 20th for approximately 4 hours before returning a not guilty verdict. So I don't know if this is going to say this, but Teddy did not testify on the stand as well at this point. It should be noted. DiBiase 43 faced 1 count conspiracy concerning programs receiving federal funds, 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. That was a lot, 13 counts. And he was found not guilty on all of them. And then he was released. So, and once again, he was the only person who didn't just plead guilty straight off the bat, which is kind of a ballsy move, especially when the prosecution had all this alleged evidence against him as well. His father, Ted DiBiase Senior, the $1 million man. I'm not saying that everybody's got a price for the $1 million man, but it's an excuse to throw that catchphrase out there.
Really? But everyone does have a price.
He was also named in some of these documents, and he is currently suing. Was it one of the state prosecutors, I think?
Probably.
Who wrote a book and then put his name in it. So he's currently got a civil suit out against that guy for naming him the father senior at all at this point. But he gave an interview some time ago and just said, hey, well, it's all crap. It's all bogus. It's all rubbish, all these accusations, which was funny because Brett had already, the other son, Brett, had already pled guilty at that point, I think, if I'm right in the timeline. Let's go back to the website. The prosecution rested its case Tuesday. I've been so keeping on with this as well, and I just missed this. I knew it was wrapping up, but I didn't realize that the jury was going to come back today. So I've sort of been caught off guard a little bit with this. We already know all that. So the U.S. state wants to repay $101 million. This has been going on for quite a few years, by the way, before, I think, like 20 years or something before. I don't know if it was the late 2010, late 2010s or early 2020s.
They're not going to pay that money back.
Accusations.
Those families that need that money will never see a dime of that. People, but trust me, been there, done that.
Prosecutors argue DiBiase, of course, received the money for welfare programs, sham contracts that didn't actually happen. Nothing really went on with it. He pocketed millions. That's what was alleged. And is there anything else out of this that we don't know? Well, this is an interesting bit. The defense contended DiBiase was and is a kind professional businessman who was motivated by a desire to help people. The defense argued that nobody who testified during the trial could say that DiBiase wasn't performing in his role. They just it's almost like, I don't know if it's like just trying to disprove a negative, I guess. But the defense said DiBiase scheduled training, set up business meetings, and accepted contracts without pushing back on the terms or offered payment amounts. DiBiase is one of several people charged with crimes in the case, of course. One of the people who the most famous person, I guess in the States anyway, maybe over here as well, if anyone's seen There's Something About Mary, but Brett Favre, who I kept pronouncing Favre because, once again, I only knew his name from There's Something About Mary. He's not been charged yet, but he's apparently or allegedly one of the people that some people are saying has benefited the most from all of this. But yeah, that is the big news. Teddy DiBiase Jr. I would have bet the other way, I've got to say.
Everybody did. And like I said, I was trying to play devil's advocate here when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I was trying to not prove a point, but just kind of be like, again, I don't know Ted DiBiase Jr. personally. I don't know his father personally, but his father wrestled when I was a child. So so I can kind of attest to that. Everybody's got a price, and you see how this scandal kind of gets out of control when the person who benefited the most was Brett Favre, and he hasn't been charged yet, and he won't. They won't, because he's too big of a celebrity to put that in. But I honestly think that justice prevailed here, because I just don't think, again, I don't know all the evidence. I don't know what was presented and what was not presented. All I can tell you is that in my eyes, I can't, I just can't see what they had against DiBiase Jr. I don't, honestly, I didn't think they had a case. Now, I do kind of think it's comical that he tried to get the trial dismissed because his lawyer was sick. Yeah, if that would actually work for poor people, trust me, poor people would be doing it. But that's not how the justice system works. And I don't really know that much about the justice system, though I am going to be serving on jury duty here shortly. I just randomly don't think that that's how it works. And I'm not saying like I know everything about the law. I don't. I'm not a lawyer myself, but I do know a little bit more than the average bear. So, and that's because you should know your rights. Locally, you should know them statewide and federally too. So know your rights, okay? Especially when you come up against a police officer. That's all I'll say to my poor people out there. To be honest, I don't know how to feel about this. Again, I was kind of trying to play devil's advocate, but also to be fair and true, it only made more sense if it, like what did they have against him? Was it just, obviously it was flimsy evidence because they ended up saying not guilty. So in the grand scheme of things, I think, justice was done here, and the people who need to face time should. And Brett Favre's they're never going to pull that rabbit out of a hat, and they're never going to charge him. So it's like, the whole scandal with the Epstein files that came out, nothing's going to happen. And we have pedophiles running our country. So I hope you like that. Anyway, I'll probably have to take that out on YouTube. But again, trigger warning. But yeah, so I don't know how to feel about that case. All I know is that it just seemed like they were trying to throw someone under the bus, and it had to be, I guess, Ted DiBiase Jr. I think what he did was clever. What he did was correct. So, I mean, if there was nothing, if he actually said he did what he was supposed to do, and he was given the rigmarole or the runaround or whatever, then okay, I guess,
Unfortunately, this is good.
Okay, sorry. So that's all I'll say about that, is that, justice was done here, and the people who should be accountable probably won't be, but I'm just going to show this briefly. Everybody probably knows this by now. Everyone knows about Chuck Norris. Everyone should know about Dennis Condrey. I saw this morning when I got on X, and I'm recording this as of the 21st of March. So again, this comes out April 12th. So you guys will already know this. So here we go. Dennis Condrey has passed away at the age of 74. Rest in peace, my brother. And here we go.
Hello, everybody. James here, and unfortunately, this is going to be a sad video because I'm going to be talking about the death of Loverboy Dennis Condrey at the age of 74. That will have, no doubt, classic wrestling fans reeling because Dennis was, of course, known as one of the greatest tag team wrestlers who ever lived, especially in the territory era. There's very few tag teams that can, really hold the candle to wrestlers in the territory, or at least the 80s era, I guess. Dennis was one of the founding members of the Midnight Express. That's what he's most famous for. He was a founder member long before Bobby Eaton or Jim Cornette got associated with that team or faction as well. And it's kind of arguable. I guess the Stan Lane version of the Midnight Express might be a bit more famous, but that's purely due to the time period because later WCW, but Mid-Atlantic, NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, was getting more steam on cable television at that time, and they were really re-emerging when Dennis left really kind of abruptly in early 1987, and then Stan Lane took over. And I guess that version might be a bit more famous, but I guess for the workhorses or the people who very much appreciate the craft of the in-ring portion of pro wrestling, they would say that the Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton version of the Midnight Express was the best one, but we'll get to that all in a minute. So Dennis was a full-time wrestler for about 16 years or so. He debuted in 1973 for the legendary Cheapskates, Nick Goulas, who I'm sure those of you who tune into Storytime with Dutch Mantel will know that it was a tough territory to work for two reasons. One, it was badly paid, and two, Nick's equally horrible son, George Goulas, was being pushed as a main event star to the exclusion of people who actually had talent. But that territory did, however, mold a ton of big-name wrestlers from that era, including Dennis, his Bicentennial Kings tag partner, Phil Hickerson. That was Dennis's first major tag team. Someone might remember Phil Hickerson later on in the burgeoning days of the USWA as P.Y. Chuhai as well. There was also, of course, Bobby Eaton, Dutch Mantel, Randy Savage, a host of Memphis legends like Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, etc. I could go on. But in 1977, Jerry Jarrett split off from Nick Goulas and formed his own promotion with Jerry Lawler at the helm. And then, the commentators would go over. Some of the wrestlers would go over either sooner or later, I guess. And Dennis and Phil were two who jumped over quite early.
All right, so we're not going to watch all of that. I just wanted to kind of, randomly, not randomly, but I did want to bring it up. I'm very sorry for the loss. Rest in peace, Dennis Condrey. I wasn't much for any of that stuff. I know Randy Savage was there. They talked about that briefly. So, and Lawler. I wasn't much for Lawler either, but I don't really remember the Midnight Express. So I probably was a baby when it was Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. So anyway, rest in peace, my brother. So, we're very sorry to hear that. And I'm very sorry for his family and his friends who we lost. And like I said, I woke up to this and I saw this on X today and I was very saddened to see it. So, all right, moving on to Vince McMahon being sued again. Is anyone really surprised about this? Yes, Vince McMahon is being sued again. So here we go. Take it away, James.
Hello all, James here. Now, there has been another development in the lawsuit against WWE that you may well know nothing about. But if found against them, it could cost TKO 9 or even 10 figures in losses. It could be $1 billion plus. So I'm here wearing my best context jumper to appear more serious and fatherly as I hopefully adequately explain the lawsuit between WWE, TKO and their shareholders and new developments that could take this lawsuit into an interesting new direction. But to recap briefly for everyone, in 2023, WWE announced that the company would merge with UFC, or Endeavor, really, to form a brand new combat sports powerhouse called TKO Group Holdings. Now, this was rather than WWE sell to, example, the Saudi Sports Authority or Viacom or any number of other bidders. Now, it was a deal worth over $20 billion, as that's what both companies were valued at roughly around the time. WWE was something like 9 point something and UFC was 11 point something, around that. But crucially, WWE wasn't sold, no money exchanged hands, and some shareholders were more than upset about this. And this is despite TKO shares more than doubling in value since the merger to about 2.5 years ago. Now, at the center of all this is Vince McMahon, of course, who had retired in I say retired, you know what I mean, ousted from the company after he found to be, let's charitably call it, being a naughty boy here, with, using company funds to pay off numerous women and getting them to sign non-disclosure agreements to keep their silence. Now, this would actually continue, obviously, into 2024 with Janelle Grant, but this isn't about Janelle Grant. Now, WWE then installed new leadership in the wake of Vince McMahon's quote-unquote retirement. That was Stephanie McMahon, who had recently quit her position, if memory serves me correctly, as well as Triple H, who, if once again memory serves me correctly, was just coming off major heart surgery, and Nick Khan. But this didn't last long. Now, Vince McMahon forced his way back into WWE in January of 2023, barely 6 months later. And this was despite the WWE Board of Directors unanimously voting against Vince's return to the company. But then WWE miraculously started removing certain board members like George Barrios and Michelle. I didn't write a name down, but there was a couple. And Vince then used his majority share voting power to basically override everybody else's worries to install himself back at the head of the table in WWE. Now, Vince later claimed that his return would help facilitate a sale of WWE, and there would be no sale without Vince McMahon back at the helm of WWE. Now, normally, this noise would cause shares to spike and shareholders to pile drive each other into jubilation. But come the merger, some WWE shareholders filed a lawsuit claiming that the entire process was rigged from the start and there was never, ever going to be a sale in the first place. They were always going to merge with UFC, which I guess at least at the time wasn't in the best interest of the WWE shareholders, soon to be TKO shareholders. But the lawsuit claimed that McMahon and other executives had steered the company toward a specific buyer, or in this case, no buyer at all, just another company that they would merge with, leaving billions of dollars on the table. Now, new allegations in this case claim that key messages and evidence related to the merger may have been deleted or in other ways gone missing. Wink, wink. But I'll get to that in a minute. Now, going back a couple of years, April 3rd, 2023, WWE announced its plan to not sell whatsoever, but merge with Endeavor, the parent company of UFC, ultimately creating a new company, TKO Group Holdings, as I mentioned before. And then the WWE stock would become TKO stock. It basically just like for like, really. There was no benefit or otherwise. The structure looked like this. Endeavor which is the parent company of UFC, would control 51% of the new company. WWE shareholders would remain holding the other 49%. And then Endeavor CEO would become TKO CEO, and that's Ari Emanuel, and he would run the combined businesses. But some shareholders believe that the deal didn't add up. So shortly after the merger between WWE and Endeavor, WWE shareholders filed a lawsuit in Delaware saying that the sale process was never really competitive, and they kind of had their ideas made up many, many months earlier. Now, according to the lawsuit, Vince McMahon had already decided he wanted to make a deal with Endeavor long before WWE officially explored selling the company, even though they were kind of floating out the idea that they were going to sell it. And this is where the issue arises. Vince is supposed to hold the shareholders' interests first and foremost when making major decisions like this, and arguably by merging with UFC, that wasn't going to be the case. It wasn't going to be the best thing for the shareholders. Now, the plaintiffs argue that, quote, other potential buyers were not fully pursued, the board failed to create a real bidding war, and the entire process was structured in a way that favored Endeavor. Now, in corporate acquisitions, companies usually try to maximize values by, of course, encouraging.
So this is basically spiel for rich people wanted to get their money, and maybe they felt cheated, so they're going to go ahead and sue. I really don't know how to feel about that. It's just, corporate jargon for rich people are mad that they got screwed. Wow, welcome to the club, honey. Welcome to the club. So, all right, now it is time for our main event. Yes, our main event is here today. It is Curt Hennig versus Larry Zbyszko. Let me just turn that up. If you guys want to look this up, you can. So it's Curt Hennig versus Larry Zbyszko, May 13th, 1984. You can find this on YouTube. And so we're going to go ahead and start the main event. Here we go.
Aha! Finally, Miller did see it. Quickly, Zbyszko let go of the trunks, but just as quickly, he grabbed a hold. Now, that's the view that Miller has, the referee has of all of this.
He's cheating already.
Curt Hennig.
Come on, Curt.
How much more can he withstand? And if indeed the hold is broken, how much more does he have left to come back and get back in this match? The abdominal stretch. Marty Miller comes around to check to see if Zbyszko. Look at this!
Whew.
Hennig flipped him over. He is out of the hold momentarily, but not out of trouble. The double hammer to the middle of the back. Again, the sledge. Hennig absorbing tremendous punishment at the hands of Larry Zbyszko.
Whoa.
Zbyszko trying to put on the souffle. Can't get it up. Hennig reverses it.
That had the
Both
hoist.
men in deep trouble. You hear the count of Marty Miller. 7. Zbyszko coming over at 7. The pile driver for Curt Hennig. Hennig is
Whoa.
trying to get his way free. Zbyszko doesn't let him go. Hennig lifts him up and over in a backdrop from 6.5 feet in the air. And
Come on, Curt.
Zbyszko is taking the punishment now. What a match. What a tremendous match here this evening.
Get him, Curt.
Play. Down goes Zbyszko again. But Curt Hennig has enough to put it on, but not to follow it up. Again, the count to 3 on both of them. Larry Zbyszko fires away. Hennig answers. They're just ripping and drilling each other. Hennig punches somehow have the more sting, and I can only believe that is because he must be the better condition of these two. Hennig now coming on.
Oh, no thanks.
The whip.
Come on, Curt.
Hennig taking control of the match. 2 tremendous shoulder blocks onto Zbyszko. This match is 1 fall, 20 minutes.
Whoa.
Zbyszko now covers on Hennig as Hennig lost control and lost momentum and balance.
Oh,
And the tide turns once again, this time in the favor of
no.
Larry Zbyszko. But now it is Curt Hennig taking the play away from Zbyszko out of Pittsburgh, PA. Hennig takes a hard right hand to the midsection and then one to the jaw. Back to the midsection, back to the jaw goes Larry Zbyszko, firing away with lefts and rights.
Whoa.
Out of the ring. Curt Hennig. He'll have a 10 count to get back in. Can he make it? Well, Zbyszko is only hurting his own cause by going over
Come on,
and
Curt.
interfering with the call
Oh.
of Marty Miller, who will start all over again each time Zbyszko interferes.
Come on, Curt.
You hear where the count is at. Uh-oh. Outside the ring, on the apron, into that top turnbuckle. Curt Hennig, out of Robbinsdale, Minnesota, is going to have to call on every bit of cunning and strength and condition and courage, and he does. Zbyszko gets his head rammed into the turnbuckle.
Grab Larry's hair.
Karate shot to the throat, 3 of them. Across the ring goes Zbyszko.
Whee!
The big back body drop. And Curt Hennig is more than just aroused. Curt Hennig is back. He fires away. Look at that. To the midsection with that right
Woo!
hand all the way up to his wrist. Curt Hennig says, whoa, let's go.
There's the axe.
To the head. Hennig now coming outside of the ring. He will come off. He can't come off the top rope. That is illegal. A blind drop kick.
It's up to the referee's discretion.
Marty Miller, the referee, says ring the bell. Curt Hennig believes that he has won the match. Are they giving it to Curt Hennig? No. No, they are not. Curt, as you saw and as we called it for you.
By disqualification, Larry Zbyszko.
So they kind of protected Curt there. They didn't let Curt get pinned. They didn't let Larry get pinned either.
Zbyszko.
Yeah, that's his move, dude.
I'm sure that young Mr. Curt Hennig was just so intent on winning this match and knowing that he had Zbyszko in trouble that he just simply forgot. He has used that move, the flying drop kick off the second rope, many times before.
Okay.
You see him there. This time,
checking his
for some
teeth to make
reason
sure
or
they're
another,
still
he
intact.
planted himself on the top rope, and that is illegal in the AWA.
We'll make it illegal or unlegal. Make it legal.
Top rope. Oh, a disappointing evening and a disappointing match for young Curt Hennig out of Robbinsdale, Minnesota.
Fans, you just saw the tape of that match between Curt Hennig and Larry Zbyszko. Curt, come on in, if you will. Some very tough luck. You were in control most of the match, but what happened there coming off the top rope?
Well, we got into the match. Things got going a little bit rough here. I had to go to my final tactic that was coming off the top rope with a drop kick. Now, coming off the top rope in the AWA on top of somebody is a disqualification. I understand that. When I came off the top rope, the man was standing up. I hit him with a drop kick. That's controversial to me. I don't understand why that was a disqualification. Mr. Zbyszko, I have a lot of respect for you. I'm not taking anything away from you. That is my power move. That's my finishing move that I've put away a lot of people with. And I've wrestled all over the world now, Japan, the Middle East, and a lot of time on the West Coast. And I've used that move all the time. That is my main move. That's my put away move. And this is what happened. Well, it's controversy, and we're going to see if something can be done about it. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Curt, thank you very much.
All right. All right, everyone. That is our show. I'd like to thank you for joining me this week. Yeah, I know that kind of went fast there, but I just wanted to get some news stuff in there. And then, of course, our main event. I kind of accidentally forgot about this match. So forgive me if there's a little bit of discrepancy in the, matches and the times that they are shown. But I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And again, I will be back next week. Next week, we will see another episode of, I'm not sure if I'm going to do, I want to kind of get some more matches with Rick Rude in them, but that is coming up here. But next week, next week is my birthday bash. So next week, it will be me and the three guys, hopefully. You guys will see that on April 20th. That will be Monday. So it will not be coming out Sunday. It'll be coming out Monday. Just like with Curt's birthday bash, it came out Saturday instead of Sunday for everybody. But so programming, programming changes will happen in this industry. So please look for that. It is my birthday bash. The guys sing happy birthday to me. And we talk about wrestling. So we will have more of that. So you will see that next week. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect. Nobody. See you next week, guys. Hey, Curt Hennig fans. Hello, and welcome to the Shameless Plugs. I wanted to do an updated version because I no longer have Patreon. I don't know if anyone has seen and down in the description field. The first shameless plug I would like to do is for my Cashapp and my PayPal account. If you can donate, please donate today. I actually had one donation, but that was more for my birthday. So anyway, if you can donate, please see the links in the description field for my PayPal and my Cashapp. I'd like to start off by saying also, and I will say this at the end, I have an AI outro that is AI generated. I actually made a country song dedicated to Curt. I made several. Just in case, there also maybe in the future or right now is going to be an AI intro. So I just want to let you know that the intro also could be AI, and this is for Amazon. Excuse me. This is for YouTube only. YouTube only. So the first shameless plug I would like to do is Kit Cabello. He is one of my great, great friends. Excuse me. I love him to death. And what a great man, great guy, all around great friend as well. You can catch him on Heartlands Media. That's 9 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday, and he will tell it like it is. Trust me, he will tell it like it is. Can't say enough great things about Kit Cabello. Also, check out Angel Riviera. He is in Angel in the Afternoon, and of course, he is my host for Pro Wrestling Talk. Pro Wrestling Talk is every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though those are scheduled to change due to family issues or WrestleMania or a pay-per-view. Also, I would like you to, but definitely check out Angel in the Afternoon. It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he also tells it like it is. Way to go, Angel. Okay, on to deconstructing topics. My big brother, Dave. I can't say enough great things about Dave. He is a big supporter of mine, and I'm a big supporter of him. If you check out Deconstructing Topics, he has his own show. I'm not sure what episode he's on right now, but he has a great podcast. Please, please, please listen to it. You can check it out on YouTube. I don't know if he's on Rumble, but I'll see if I can get a Rumble link. All these links are in the description field if you want to check these people out. Also, I'd like to mention my little kid brother, Alex Knight. We are actually not really related, but I see him like a little brother. So anyway, Alex Knight, you can find him on Angel in the Afternoon. You can also catch him on Pro Wrestling Talk. And I think he's going to do a baseball podcast with Angel as well. So check that out. That'll be on Sundays. I'm not sure the time. I'll have to get that from Angel later. But I just want to make sure that you check him out because he is a great person and someone I can call friend and little brother. The next shameless plug I'd like to do really fast is Black Magic Talk is my other show, guys. If you would like to check that out, all you have to do is click the link in the description field, and blessed be to you if you are also a witch, wizard, or warlock, or whatever you call yourself. You can check that out in the description field. We have a lot of fun over there. I love to have on special guests, especially Sonia Smith. She's a very dear friend of mine. I hope you will subscribe to all these people on YouTube or on Rumble. We are also on Rumble. The Rumble description field, the link is in the description field. Sorry. If you would like to check that out, this will be going on YouTube, of course, because I don't need this for Rumble. I could put it on Rumble. I think I might. So if you are on Rumble watching this and you would like to see the YouTube version of this, it's mostly audio that you will see, except for this part, right? Just check us out on YouTube. The link is in the description field. And again, if you want to check out Black Magic Talk, you can check that out too, where we talk everything pagan and Wiccan. There is no evil or black magic, of course. It's all great fun, and we have a good time. If you like a personal tarot reading from me, click the link in the description field below. I can get you my, my pricing and stuff. If you would like to be a guest on the Black Magic Talk, or if you'd like to be on Pro Wrestling Talk, you can DM me on X. My X is in the description field for both Black Magic Talk and for Curt Hennig podcast. Go ahead and hit those in the description field and DM me, and feel free to ask if you'd like to be a guest. If there's anything else, concerns, or if you would like to just give feedback, you can always DM us on X and so on. Just want to mention my Cash App and my PayPal account are in the description field. If you can give to the show, great. If not, please enjoy the show. That's what we are mainly here for, just for your entertainment purposes only. And again, I will reiterate that the AI outro song is AI generated. That is for everyone, for Rumble and for YouTube. Also, there could be an AI intro song. Just want to let you know that if there's ever an intro song, it is AI generated on YouTube. I created a couple of songs here and there, a couple of country songs I think that Curt would like. So I hope you check those out. And remember, everyone, nobody beats Mr. Perfect or Curt Hennig. Nobody.
I remember those nights in the TV glow, watching you a hero in the ring. With every match, you'd steal the show, making us believe impossible things. Golden locks and a confident stride, wrestling through battles both big and small. With a perfect plex, you turned the tide, Mr. Perfect, you had it all. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Behind the glitz and all the fame was a man with strength and grace. Though we never knew your name, you left a mark time can erase. I can still hear that entrance theme echoing through arenas and TV screens. A legend in his prime and dream, you remain in all our scenes. Oh, on the nights when stars glow bright, I think of you and you feel this fight. Gone too soon, but still inside. Mr. Perfect, you are a guiding light. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Oh, Mr. Perfect, where'd you go? In our hearts, you still steal the show. In a world that's moved too fast, your legacy's meant to last. Behind the glitz and all the fame was a man with strength and grace. Though we never knew your name, you left a mark time can't erase. Though we never knew your name, you left a perfect